On today's episode is a recap, a look back at this year's Thermostat Cultures Live event, the hybrid event, and here's some sights and sounds and reflections from the powerful day of development, Thermostat Cultures Live. Welcome back to the Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world.
Thermostat Cultures Live just ended. We had an amazing group of speakers today. Absolutely powerful event. What are your thoughts from the event?
It was just that, exactly what you just said. Powerful day. There's so much from today. The energy in the room. Every time we do this event, I am in awe and excited about the caliber of just human that's in the room. And so I love looking out and seeing all of these leaders from so many different teams and organizations and companies and that are doing amazing work, and to see them there and the energy in the room, and then to see the virtual folks that across the country that were participating, remotely, so great. And shout out to everybody that was a part of that. And then, the content shared today and the development was fantastic. So I think about, I am forever going to be thinking about some of the things that Chris Singleton shared, obviously losing his mother in a racially motivated shooting, and then his message and mission of love is stronger than hate, and unity and forgiveness. And then us talking about the translation of that into teams and cultures, and how do we create, teams and cultures that are about loving people, caring for people, bringing people together. So I'm going to remember that. Obviously, all of the conversation we had, Ken Boyer from EY was fantastic. Again, Kevin Clayton from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tamara Miles, researcher, author, all these friends and people that chimed in, the voices that I continued to hear, the quotes that I heard of my heart breaks for both sides of traumatic and crisis situations. And what is the role that leaders play of stepping in? What does it look like to have courageous conversations, to set a temperature, and to create ultimately meaningful work environments where people want to be a part of what you're doing, your team, your organization, your culture. So powerful day. And I'm excited. I hope you're going to hear some other reflections from other participants from today.
Hey, Jim Smith with Chairman of Elford Construction, and this is probably my sixth or seventh Thermostat Live, and we work with Jason. What resonated with me today is just continually focus on the fundamentals of leadership, fundamentals of improving our communications, because as we talked about, what are the things you got to focus on, and how do we continue to improve as we got to grow. If we're not growing, the whole saying is if we're not growing, we're dying. And Jason asked the question about how do you justify investment in people? And if we're not growing our people, then we're either leveling out and we'll become complacent and we won't be relevant. It's just a matter of time. So it's just getting some energy around continual development and improvement, even when times are tough. You can't put it in the back seat.
Yeah. So now are you going to bring some of this back? What kind of things might you kind of, if there's any message or anything?
So, yeah, it's not going to be that, come back from a day in leadership training and try to change the world, right? So what I took from this, and I mentioned it earlier in the day, was 2024 is going to be a hard year. There's from this next Tuesday, when election day, to next election day, there's going to be a lot of outside influence on our cultures for everybody because of the rhetoric that's going on, and there are challenges. It's the things that aren't really true, or the things that aren't important to us that we've got to block out, and we've got to focus on what we can impact and how we take care of our teams and we take care of anybody in our lives. And we just got to talk about it a little differently, I think. And I don't know if that's more often or what yet. But it today gave me pause to think about that a little deeper.
How would you describe this to anybody who is a listener?
So I love podcasts. I love to read, but there's nothing better than being live with other leaders, other emerging leaders that care, because it's the greatest environment of how to learn. I think it's learning at the highest level. I'm 64, not tired of learning, because it makes life, how do we continue to provide purpose in our personal lives and our professional lives? So being together is, I got to interact with at least a dozen people today that I've never met. And it's human to human interaction.
I'm Madison Davis. I work for the Germain Automotive Partnership. Taking on a new role in this company, as I recently have, I think that these sessions are really good for training purposes, even just for being reflective and looking inward on yourself and kind of understanding how you want to move forward with something new, and just kind of gives you a lot of tools and resources to think, mental aspect of it, of what type of person you want to be in a new role and how you see yourself moving forward in some territory that could be unfamiliar.
And do you feel like you have a good idea, like you said, you as a new employee, and how you kind of help your team get on board with the message as well? Do you feel that you've gotten some, or even learning from other people here, that you've gotten some good input on how to do that as well?
Absolutely. There's been a lot of great stories that are helpful for reflection on that. And there's been a lot of good quotes that have been said. Every piece of the seminar has a valuable tool within it. And I just really enjoy being a part of it and learning.
My name is Caroline. I work for Germain Automotive Partnership. And we've had Jason Barger quarterly with us on our summit meetings at the zoo. But this particular program for people that are in the company, and we were lucky enough to have been chosen, it gives us a chance to step back and to have a way to hear from other large corporations, people in different positions, on what they've already implemented. But more so, when the question is asked, you have time to think through that question. I don't think that if I went home after a work day, I would ever have learned more than I did today. And then with Chris, the gentleman that came in to talk about losing his mother, and the Cubs baseball player, I really appreciate the opportunity to understand what I'm holding on to that I shouldn't be. And I don't think it adds any productivity for my work employment or for my home life. And that gave me an opportunity today to say, it's a reset of my own thermostat. To say these are the changes I want to have for myself, and then I can help the others at work do the same.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that forgiveness piece, whether it's your personal life or your work,
right?
It's forgiveness or just letting go, as you said, right? And just what's on the other side of that, right?
You don't even realize the baggage you were carrying until you heard him speak.
Absolutely.
And then I'm like, wow, my mother would be ashamed if I'm holding on to these things. So I definitely want to be in a different place where I can help more people to navigate through the workplace, obviously, but in my own family, really appreciate those opportunities and go in with an open heart and show them the compassion and the forgiveness that we all should do.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
But let's take a break. Let's pause for a second, and we'll be right back. Many teams and organizations right now are realizing that they need to do both. They need to engage the minds and hearts of their people in person, where everyone in the room can experience the energy of congregating together and find clarity for the road ahead. And they also need to continue to find ways to engage the minds and hearts of their people virtually, with those who are working remotely or at a distance. So, if you are in the process of planning your next team meeting, company all-hands event, conference or culture summit, and are looking for support with a powerful keynote speech, facilitated team conversations that are the currency for change, or deeper development on leadership mindset and an intentional strategy for the culture you're trying to create, I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
I'm Paul Hansen with Epcon Communities, and one thing that really resonated and challenged me earlier today was Jason's comment about expanding our definition of fit for people. And I've long talked about motivational fit at different companies I've been with, just in terms of who we're bringing in, who we're hiring. And Jason offered a really good insight on that. And just, are we really settling if we just go with what's typically fit within our organizations? Or should we kind of expand that definition and bring in people that'll challenge our preconceived notions and make us even better and expand our capacity? So that's I would say my top takeaway of the morning.
Are you approaching situations from maybe a different perspective now that you've spoken to somebody or heard a new concept or anything like that today?
You got a lot
We were
right up
just
here.
talking this morning about how much we hate public speaking.
It's
and
true.
we're like gonna pay for a class.
My favorite part of this is it's not public speaking.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
literally-
still shitting my
same.
pants.
So what would you say is your biggest takeaway from today?
The importance of leadership and being checked in and dialed in with your teams.
And is there anything you've learned today that will help you do that when you remove yourself from this environment where everybody's kind of talking about that? How do you as a leadership stay checked in and kind of look out for your team? Is there anything that...
Yeah. So I think it's important taking from today to check in with yourself first. Make sure you're addressing your team in like a cool, comfortable temperature. If you're upset about something and then present to your team what you're upset about, still in that space of being upset, the message might come across wrong. So I would say that.
Carl Perkins, Educational Empowerment Group. One of the things that resonated with our team is being very intentional in the things that we do and how we support our staff and how we support our organization as a whole, being very intentional in what we do.
Brilliant. And then what about the spirit of the day? They talked about calibrating your thermostat. How are you going to kind of bring stuff back? What do you think, like back to the organization? Anything there?
Caring not only about us as a team, but also for our staff, we serve students, so serving our students and how it resonates from the top down. We want to bring back the energy of care and being very intentional on how we treat people.
Nice. And then how would you describe this event to like a podcast listener, basically, that hasn't maybe been here?
Amazing. Opportunity to learn from the best in their chosen industry and the ability to grow in an environment that is non-threatening and really some of the best speakers across the country. So amazing opportunity.
Thank you. Love it.
A new concept that I heard today was about micro-moment connections. And that's referring to the fact that each individual interaction you have with people matters. And sometimes it's those very small connections that become very meaningful to people and help build culture.
And that they don't have to be, as you said, big moments or big, let's all talk about so-and-so and all these things happening, but it can just be as something, saying hi to somebody going down the hall, right? Or remembering something about someone, right? They use the example of the gal who was speaking, right, about the lacrosse tournament.
That's right. And all of these moments give people a sense of belonging, which is very important at work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, gives people meaning at work.
Wonderful.
Kind of drives home the point that you make a difference in other people's lives as well when you kind of open up and have those moments with them to be able to share.
And this was Katie and Pam from Epcon.
Jason Schuff, Simpson Scarborough, creative director. After today, so I'm a relatively new leader. I have a bigger team to manage now, and so this is really helpful for me personally to have this day to kind of think through the way I'm going to go back and set the temperature for that team and really get everyone feeling like they're belonging. And also, one of the big things for me is we work remotely, and so there is an aspect of how do you build a space for people to be creative when you don't have a physical space to do it in. And so that's part of what I've been thinking through in a lot of the sessions we're talking about today, and it's been pretty great to just imagine the possibilities there.
Yeah. And how would you describe the energy and kind of the spirit of today?
Yeah.
And of the event?
Yeah, the event, I would say the spirit and energy of this thing is just so powerful. It's the stories and, that are being told by Jason and Chris and other speakers up there are really inspiring and give me a ton of perspective in different areas that I didn't come in expecting that I would get as well. Like there's a lot of the leadership culture stuff that I was excited about, but then you get kind of the added extra, just the inspiring people that we're all around right now. It's incredible.
Okay, it was an amazing day at Thermostat Cultures Live. Sound bites from the experience, and hopefully you feel the energy in the room that was here all day, and also so many virtual participants as well. So an amazing day. Some sights and sounds and reflections from the powerful day of development, Thermostat Cultures Live. Yeah, stay tuned, and I hope you'll continue to listen because we'll have future episodes from content directly from Thermostat Cultures Live, and we're going to be excited to share some of those in-depth conversations and dialogue that we had that was powerful. So stay tuned. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.